Welcome to That's Good Court. I am Brandon. We are back down to 0 on the days without an Antonio Brown incident Perna. An arrest warrant has been issued for former NFL receiver and current wannabe musical artist Antonio Brown. How fitting is it that Deshaun Watson is returning to play football the same week AB might end up in jail? That will be the main story today, while I also touch on a couple other relevant NFL headlines from around the league. Before I do, though, let me share with you the ultimate Broncos meme, representing what many believe is how our team currently functions.
It's a huddle, guys. It's a huddle. Huddle, Latin for round. Come on, turn around. All right, there you go. All right, now, communication is the key. I signal the quarterback with the play, he relates it to you in the huddle, and then we try it on the field. Okay, let's do it.
Guys, I'll run the ball. You always run the ball. Why can't I run the ball?
Because you're slow and no one likes you.
Says who? Everybody says I run the ball. Well, you can't go to my birthday. So what?
Okay, guys, that was good for a first time. Let's try it again.
Shout out Johnny Barks on Twitter for putting that together for me. Let's do the NFL news in another episode of Law and Order Sports. Hey, if you want me to represent you in the court of law one day, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Better Call Perna. Now, Deshaun Watson returns to the NFL this week after serving an 11-game suspension for 20 to 30 varying accusations of sexual misconduct and assault. It's a really weird week for Watson to return, as the NFL is making its annual push for the My Cleats, My Cause charity initiative. That's where NFL players are allowed to wear specifically designed cleats to promote various charities they support. As you may recall from my Brandon Marshall video that nobody watched, when Marshall tried to raise awareness for mental health issues with his cleats, the NFL fined him for uniform violations. Just a friendly reminder, the NFL will always do the absolute wrong thing before figuring out how to do the right thing. That's just how they operate. Now this week, while perusing Twitter, I saw that Epstein Island was trending. It was trending this week, and initially I thought that was Deshaun Watson's My Cleats, My Cause charity. Turns out that that was just a coincidence. Now, Tony Busby, the lawyer who spearheaded the lawsuits, filed against Deshaun Watson, will be attending his first game back with 10 of Watson's alleged victims, which, making an alleged sexual assault victim then attend a Browns and Texans game seems like cruel and unusual punishment by every letter of the definition. It was nice to see the collective sports media world spend more time this week ridiculing Russell Wilson for his birthday party attendance than, talking about Deshaun Watson returning to the field. Anyway, the Jacksonville Jaguars are coming off a huge win against the Baltimore Ravens last weekend, and apparently they did that with just 38 rushing yards, which is the fewest rushing yards by any team in a win this season. You actually have to go all the way back to 1997 when the Steelers got a win with just 40 rushing yards in a victory. Now, Travis Etienne was injured in that game, but Trevor Lawrence proved he could throw his team to a win. And I am a little bullish on the Jags right now, but this is a very Jaguar-like stat to get. They have a win while also doing some god-awful statistical accomplishment to associate with it. Now, the Chargers and Dolphins have been flexed into Sunday night, the game on December 11th, after the league decided my Broncos were no longer worthy of playing primetime football, especially against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now this is a huge game for the truthers out there, QAnon, the herbiciders, and the national sports media. Finally, Tua versus Herbert in a prove who is actually good game. Although Tua did win the first matchup when Brian Flores was the head coach. This is what gets so annoying about sports talk, sports debate. The sports news were presented. Two things can be true, but you can't make a good show if you have both hosts or the panel of four saying, you know what, both Justin Herbert and Tua are pretty fucking talented quarterbacks right now. I like watching both of them play equally. Even though that is the truth about these two quarterbacks, we can't just say that, can we? Tua currently has the longest active streak without an interception at 174. He and Justin Herbert have each thrown 19 touchdowns this season, but Herbert has 7 picks to Tua's 3. Tua, he's also been sacked just 12 times this season, while the Chargers lost their star tackle Rashawn Slater early for the season with an injury. Tua does have better weapons right now in the passing game with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, who have already combined for over 2,000 receiving yards and 10 receiving touchdowns. Justin Herbert has been playing without Keenan Allen and Mike Williams with his rib cartilage injury for most of the season. So let's just say both of these guys are pretty good, and their situations this season are hard to compare for a multitude of reasons. One similarity I do see is the unanimous love and praise for Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel, which Staley had his rookie year, and both rightfully so. McDaniel, though, he's been a breath of fresh air.
I woke up like at 3 and I couldn't go back to sleep. So I was thinking about when you randomly hit me up that you're YouTubing me.
Yeah.
And so then I YouTubed you and heard and saw this Trent Dilfer thing showing all this high school from you.
Great.
And bro, your technique was trash.
Let's go, Dean!
You know what I mean?
Although he does seem to have some anger issues when anyone mentions time.
Clock! 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 Clock!
And after his infamous mismanagement of the clock week 1, I imagine that's how Nathaniel Hackett wakes up screaming from his night terrors.
Clock! 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 Clock!
And if you recall, Chargers head coach Brandon Staley received similar praise his rookie year in 2021 as a head coach on the job. He became a media darling, which has carried into this season, even though he's kind of hit a little bit of a slump. My point, though, is that I think Mike McDaniel has already earned himself the same leeway Staley got for his early success, and that's tough to do as a rookie head coach. Trust me, I know. McDaniel will be tested, though, in the next 2 games while coaching against the 49ers, his old team, and then, yes, the Chargers in prime time. I'm actually excited that game got moved there because it is the better watch.
Clock! 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 Clock!
My bad, I did not mean to mention time again, Mike. I apologize. Antonio Brown does have a warrant out for his arrest, and unlike last time, he will not be able to evade police capture by hiding in Tom Brady's fortress. He's officially been banned from the TB12 compound like he's some disgusting Jimmy G. Here's a free line for your next lyrical masterpiece, though, AB. Channeling my inner rap god. The police put out an APB for AB. Looks like karma catching up to me for dogging on Tom Brady. I shouldn't have posted nude pictures of Giselle. Got a lot of time to reflect from a prison cell. I'm sorry, God, please don't let me burn in hell. Jesus, this is an APB from AB. Banger. So what did Antonio Brown do? He is wanted on a domestic battery charge stemming from an incident on November 28th. It's his ex-fiancée who has accused Brown in this situation. Many of the details surrounding the incident were posted on Fox 13 Tampa Bay. It sounds like Brown and his ex-fiancée had an argument where things escalated to a point where police were called. Even though there are battery charges, I could not tell if any act of physical violence actually occurred. This is from the Fox 13 article and police report. In a quote, "The suspect exited the residence and threw a shoe at the victim, striking her in the ponytail." So his shoe hit her in the hair, okay? The victim had no injuries but believed the shoe was meant for her head. The suspect, Antonio Brown, would not open the door or come outside to speak with officers. The suspect also, during this incident, attempted to issue an informal eviction to the victim. So during the ordeal, police said Brown locked himself in the house while others tried to speak to him. Investigators said Brown threatened to shoot her if she tried to enter the house. Quote, "The suspect placed an informal eviction notice on the door with 11/28/2022 at the date showing the victim has 7 days to gather her belongings and leave." The police report said in part, the suspect continued throughout the incident to state that the victim had no right to be at the residence or even gain entry to it because she did not live there. Okay, so to recap, Antonio Brown threw a shoe at the mother of his children, threw her belongings onto the yard, refused to let her back into the house, threatened to shoot her, wouldn't let police in, and then posted an eviction notice on the door. Which I'd personally love to see a photo of that handwritten notice. An assumedly poorly written eviction notice. You have been Invictus. Signed, put that shit on. This is another sad chapter, though, in the downfall of Antonio Brown. He was just ordered last month to pay $1.2 million to the moving truck driver that he assaulted a couple years ago. Brown was also on probation from that incident, which he actually had shortened by a full year for good behavior. I wonder if domestic battery ends his streak of good behavior. But we have seen issues between his ex-fiancée and him before. There are also kids involved here, since she is the mother of 4 of his children. And when someone as unstable as Antonio Brown starts to threaten to shoot someone, I hope intervention stops something terrible from happening. I don't think Antonio Brown should be around any of these people, and he needs serious help, which he needs to be forced to receive, because time and time again, all he has done is deflect blame while spewing absolute nonsense while doing so. How many assaults, sexual assault accusations, and varying other situations does he have to be a part of before something is done? I don't know, but I feel like this is one of those situations where something terrible is gonna happen if police intervention, court-ordered intervention, if something doesn't happen to help protect Antonio Brown from himself and to protect others from Antonio Brown. Thanks for watching That's Good Sport, courts, whatever. Going through the law, the legal law stuff. Been a little bit, figured we had to dive back in. Make sure you subscribe here on YouTube for more NFL videos. And if you care to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, I am there at Brandon Perna.